continues, and now here we are for another episode of Stats Over Politics, Keith. So let's get right into it as we start with the game that we just watched. We had originally planned to go live today at 9 o'clock, but this game took a little bit longer than expected, and it's because the Suns made a run in the fourth quarter propelled by Dillon Brooks, only to fall short as A.J. Mitchell hits a clutch three out of the timeout, about 3.5 minutes left, and then the Thunder really locked up the victory as they take a 2-0 lead over the Suns. As I mentioned, Kevin and Alex, they talked about game one on Sunday, so we're not going to focus too much on game one. But Keith, just what was your reaction to this outcome and the fact that the defending champions have now taken a 2-0 series lead here in the first round?
Well, I think anybody would tell you that as an NBA fan that follows the league, there's Oklahoma City and there's everybody else. And we'll get into San Antonio, Boston, Cleveland, your beloved Cleveland Cavaliers randomly the last couple of months, but that's not the point. But obviously, to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. And it's hard. Why is it hard? Because Oklahoma City is so talented. You saw Jalen Williams get hurt earlier in this game. You hope he's okay and that hamstring is in one piece and that he can be able to go down the line. But even with only getting 19 minutes from J-Dub, you still get 37 from Shea. You'll still get a nice 19 points from Chet Holmgren. And you force Phoenix into 22 turnovers. And what I love about Oklahoma City when I watch them is that, yes, obviously lots of talent, lots of young, talented individuals on that core that Mark Daigneault has to play around with. But they can go big. They can go small. They can shoot the three ball. They can rebound if need to. They can push the tempo. There's never going to be with Oklahoma City a set way you can beat them. Unless, obviously, knock on wood, the injuries. But I keep telling people, and we keep going back and forth. You know, the internet, Shaun Hochul, they like to joke around. You know, there's jokes all around the internet, especially NBA Twitter, and we see the memes. But I'm going to tell you this right now. A Chrysler 300 looks like a phantom until an actual phantom pulls up. What do I mean by that? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you can call him a free throw merchant. You can call him a guy that fakes it, that flops it till he makes it, that flops till he drops. 37 points. Yes, he might get some calls favorably here or there. When you're the MVP, you do MVP things, but he went 9 for 9 from the free throw line, and there's a control to his game. You can have great players, and we'll talk about Anthony Edwards, and we'll talk about the Jokic's. In order to control a basketball game and be a contending team, I've always said one thing. Your best player has to have the feel and knows how to control the car. Don't have to go 100 miles per hour every single time, but can you go 60 and ride that puppy on the freeway until it's time to get off at the exit? And that's what I love about SGA. You can say all you want about the free throws. He can control the game, the tempo with such ease. He can change the speed. He can work off the pick and roll. The jump shot is consistent. We are looking at one of the greatest players, not even at his peak, I would say, in NBA history. If obviously the injuries are, you have to stay healthy. But man, this guy is so good at what he does, scoring the basketball, but also you don't turn it over. And you need that in your best player to make sure if you're going to win a championship, your best player has to not cost you the basketball game. He doesn't do that. Oklahoma City up 2-0. Did not have a Dillon Brooks 30 ball, but that's always interesting to see. But you're just seeing right now, Phoenix in a regular year, Phoenix is 45-37. They're not a bad basketball team. The problem is, though, is that 45 wins in the Western Conference in the year of our Lord 2026 only gets you a play-in invite. You got to win the play-in, and then you get to be the 8th seed. And as a result, you're playing arguably one of the greatest basketball teams to ever suit up in the NBA with such a young core. It's just hard right now. They're just the talent on that side. It's too vast for Oklahoma City. We might be looking at a 4-0 or a gentleman's sweep the way this is going.
Well, now joining us in introducing none other than a pair of toddies, Mr. Jaevon and Mako Toddy joining us here on episode 188 of Stats Over Politics. Hi, Mako.
You just wave. Say hi. Say hi.
He was waving like a pro, and then he got a little shy.
He's had enough of us already.
No,
Welcome,
I
Podfather.
think Keith kind of hit the nail on the head, kind of with everything that he was talking about. Kind of getting 0 points from J Dub didn't really matter. Obviously because Shea had a 40-piece, 38 to be exact. I thought Chet Holmgren played really well. He shot 50% from 3-point range, hitting 3 out of 6 threes. I think kind of what the main focus is for Phoenix is they need guys to generate offense, and I think Jalen Green, as much as it pains for me to say, he had 21 points off of 23 shots. So OKC is kind of putting him in a position to try and be able to, okay, we saw what you were able to do in the play-in. Let's see if you can duplicate that. And me being the guy that I am, I'm a Jalen Green truthist believer, and I feel like
Has been for
every
years.
time he has these games in the playoffs or play-in, he takes off, and then the next game is just like he disappears. We saw it last year in the playoffs when he had the near, I think it was 38-point game in one of those playoff games against the Warriors. And then the next couple of games, I think he didn't even score 38 points combined. So kind of being the team that OKC is defensively, them being able to kind of put these guys in shackles and make other guys beat you, like Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks is a guy who we're not accustomed to seeing scoring 30 points in a game. But this was a game that they kind of needed whatever offense that they could get. And the way that OKC's defense is set up, it kind of forces other teams like the Suns to go out and try and beat you. Like, all right, Dillon Brooks, you can go out and get 30, show me, type shit. So, obviously, Devin Booker is the guy that we all look at. I didn't think he was nearly as aggressive as he was in game one. Only really having 14 shots. You see guys like Jalen Green have 23 shots. Devin Booker is a guy that needs to demand the ball more and go out and try and score 30 because they kind of need that from him. And with OKC kind of being the team that they are, they're going to need everything that they can get. So, obviously, probably it's going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to be the MVP. He got that 38 kind of with ease. If you watch the game, Keith was already mentioning he controls the pace of the game and he plays at his own pace. He never gets sped up. And that's one of his qualities that you'll notice. That takes him a long way. So, yeah. The Thunder were like 17.5-point favorites in this game, and they did not cover. 18 points is a lot. They ended up winning by 13. So I never really thought that they would cover that spread just based off of the game, how it went off, because the Suns were kind of trying to cut back into the lead. And you saw that they were down 26 at one point in time. And then Dillon Brooks kind of got hot and then ended up kind of going on an insane run and cutting that lead down to, I think it was like 10 points at one point in time. But I never really thought OKC would lose the game. But 17.5 points is a lot of goddamn points. I don't care who you are. In a playoff game, it's insane. So I would imagine the spread for game 3, it's probably going to be like 8.5. That's just me taking a crazy gambling guess. But that's still a lot of points, especially on the road for a team like OKC. But I think Thunder are probably going to win 4 games.
Yeah, I agree that I think that the Thunder will end up sweeping this series. The thing that really made me raise my eyebrows about all the discussion there was when Keith was talking about the fact that this Thunder team, like as assembled, despite how young they are quickly becoming one of the best teams in NBA history, is what I heard you say, Keith, as well as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cementing himself among the all-time greats, which maybe I'm a little hesitant to go that far because I try to shy away from recency bias. But 5-10 years down the line, when we, especially considering how many championships this core ends up winning together, because they have a great chance to do it again this year and to go back to back, just like Shai has a great chance to go back to back as the MVP. And so, like, being here in the moment, it feels like an extreme statement, But also, like, in the grand scheme of things, I think that you're onto something just as far as in the grand scheme of things later on down the line.
It's hard. We watch sports all the time, and I think about this often. It's not even an NBA thing, but just an overall circumference of sports in general. It's hard to win a championship. It's even harder to win it again because you're dealing with all the outside noise, the interference. And then once you win that championship, then it becomes a situation where it's like, all right, we won it. We've reached the mountaintop. What else is there now? It takes a really unique collective of individuals to get that fired up again, be hungry, but also you have to be really lucky, Shaun, with injuries. And I look at a team like, I hate to, you know, be the bearer of bad news, but the Niners with their core, they've been competitive the last 10, 11 years, damn near. But certain years, injury bug doesn't fall their way, they're out of it. But again, you got to get really lucky to win a championship in any professional sport because the competition is so vast. And then to do it again, everyone has to buy in. Certain guys have to be healthy. And the one thing with the Thunder that's really scary, keep this in mind. Jared McCain, one of the bright young guards in the league, he played 0 minutes tonight. They didn't need him. So again, for Oklahoma City, as you look at the way the bracket goes, they're obviously going to be a tough out for anybody. But we're going to get into this whole situation with San Antonio and the Lakers and the Rockets. I mean, by default, and obviously we got to see what's going to go happen with J-Dub, but if the Thunder are able to sweep the Suns, it's going to give them, I believe, such an ability to rest up and charge and get healed up. But also there is that drawback of you're not playing basketball for a vast majority of time. Are you practicing as hard? You can't really repeat like game reps and in-game minutes compared to practice. But again, if you can get a sweep, get out of Phoenix 4-0, I mean, that is a W as far as everything else. Because I don't think any of these series that we're going to talk about in a minute, I don't think there's going to be a gentleman's sweep. Maybe one, but I don't think you're looking at a sweep at any of these series. And I think you're at least looking 5 or 6, depending on what happens on the Western bracket.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, given the fact that 5 of these series are split 1-1, when usually in the first round, you see a lot of 2-0 series through those first couple of games. But the fact that more than half of them are split 1-1 is great for basketball. It's great for sports fans because it just adds to the intrigue. Like you said, that it's not a guarantee that we're going to see a lot of sweeps or even a gentleman's sweep, which is really unique in the first round. And the Thunder, they seem to be the only team that's in cruise control. And like you said, the rest is where it's really going to help the Thunder, particularly when it comes to J-Dub, who got hurt in tonight's game. And who knows how long he's going to be out. And so that, yes, you have to balance rest over rust. But the fact that the Thunder could end up having their second best player get valuable time to recuperate and not have to rush back. I mean, I think they were even talking during the game broadcast, Doris Burke and Dave Pasch, about the fact that J-Dub didn't feel like he had to rush back and he didn't have to come back that soon this year when he was hurt. And it's because the team was doing so well without him that they didn't really seem desperate to have him back. Like, obviously, adding him back is great, but he didn't have to rush back because they didn't really need him to. And you hit the nail on the head with Jared McCain. The Thunder are just adding all of these great pieces. Like, what's that thing called from Avengers? Is it the Infinity?
The Infinity Stones? Yeah.
Infinity Stones. Yeah, there you go. That's what the Thunder are doing. The fact that like Jared McCain is a luxury for them to not have to play them. Meanwhile, on probably at least half.
We'll see how Jaevon Mitchell fits.
Exactly. And he was the one who hit that clutch 3 out of the timeout that really sealed the win for them when the Suns were chipping away. And so the Thunder, they could be a juggernaut that won't be stopped this season. And who knows for seasons to come, as you were alluding to.